Welcome to Count About Talk. I'm Big Pop.
And I'm Professor S.
And this week we're going to discuss all things WWE, what they're doing wrong, and how they can make it better.
Speaking of how they can make it better.
How's that?
No.
That intro sucked.
Yeah. Alright, cool.
Well, what's our first thing here?
So first topic is, in lieu of Night of Champions just around the corner, we're going to go through each title defense, talking probably about the most meaningless first to the most relevant last.
Okay.
And to do that, we'll start with the Divas title and the situation with the triangle of Layla, Eve, and Caitlyn right now.
Okay. Well, my opinion, I'm kind of glad that Caitlyn did get taken out so viciously on Monday night. This way that clears the way for Eve to have a rivalry with Layla. No offense to Caitlyn, I just think Eve has more experience, as does Layla, and I think we're going to get a better match. Ideally, I'd like to see Eve wrestle somebody other than Layla, but that's all we've got right now. So
I'm not necessarily against Layla and Eve wrestling. I'm really against Layla sitting in the commentary booth and calling Caitlyn a rookie the whole time. She won NXT season 2. She's been
2 years ago.
She's been wrestling in the company ever since, even though they've been spots on Superstars and what have you with AJ and Natalya at one point. And she kind of deserves her push, and this is part of the problem with the company, is they're not giving the younger talent the push.
Across all levels.
Yeah.
Tag team, heavyweight, guys, girls, whatever.
But in saying that, using Eve as a star power and Layla with star power, and plus they're both... Eve is layers ahead of Layla, but Eve, deserves the chance. Layla, deserves her little run too, so it's going to make for a great rivalry.
We'll be putting in our predictions on Night of Champions on next week's show.
Next up will be the tag team champions of Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. How do you feel about the tag team division?
I think it's awful. Honestly, it's environment now where they can just take two wrestlers and put them together and create a tag team. Whereas in the past it was these guys came up together and they started together, like the Hart Foundation or the British Bulldogs or the Rockers. And in that case, then you've got somebody like a Bret Hart or Davey Boy Smith, British Bulldog, and Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, stepping out and moving beyond. Right now, I would love to see Kofi and R-Truth lose the titles, but I don't see any good team for them to lose it to.
The deal is with the tag team champions is that Kofi Kingston and R-Truth are actually a pretty perfect team together. And the other eclectic groups like Justin Gabriel and
You just
Tyson
invented
Kidd.
a word.
Yeah, just invented a word.
Eclectic selections. Where do you see the tag team division?
I like Kofi Kingston and R-Truth as the champions. They're a little unbeatable right now. You thought primetime players were going to beat up on them. I think everybody thought the primetime players were going to beat up with them.
Those guys suck.
Epico and Primo, even though they're not original together, they're original together now.
They're related, like the Usos.
The Usos are good. I think it has a good starting crop. But I think what they're doing is they're making Kofi Kingston and R-Truth look a little unbeatable, so when they call up this FCW team, Ascension, who is supposed to be off the wall and really young, a mix of high flying and
strength,
some bruisers, okay. And you have them beat Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, run with the titles. Rumor is that the Dudley Boys might be looking to get back into WWE.
Heard that as well.
So there's a couple things that could really... this is a starting point. And I see people are unhappy in the rich tradition of the tag team division that there is. Legion of Doom, the Rockers. Look at the Steiner Brothers. We totally forgot to mention the Steiner Brothers. And I think they're just trying to rebuild it, and it's a cycle thing, and it's going to go back into the wave.
My suggestion is to take R-Truth or Kofi out of the equation, have somebody hurt, and have them unable to defend the titles and have to vacate the titles. Put those four young teams together and let them battle it out, and then let them have a rivalry which will establish one of their dominance, and let them keep the belts, or let it bounce around between the two or three. I think this will give them more airtime, and it will definitely give them more experience and really, really build a floundering tag team division.
Green screen assistance courtesy of the Helen Keller Foundation of Technology, where technology is pronounced
division.
Cesaro, our U.S. champion, next on our list. What do you think? You know, up-and-comer, new guy, and just came through, dominated Santino. I mean, mind you, it's Santino, but...
Of course. He's a clown, Santino, and that's kind of what it's for. Santino's meant as a clown. I'm hoping that they just end this angle. I don't see him regaining the United States champion right away. Cesaro's the real deal. This guy has the physique. He has the intelligence. He has the ring psychology. And he's got Axana. He's got everything built to go forward to create more challengers and a bona fide United States championship. Cesaro's the real deal, and I'd like to see who out there can actually hang, new or otherwise, maybe a veteran.
Here's my problem with Antonio Cesaro right now, is that he's beating up the likes of Santino and jobbers, but he's not beating Christian. That one match where he just couldn't get the job done against Christian, and then you're going to continue his feud with Santino instead of moving him on to somebody better, somebody more qualified, and you kind of have him stuck in no man's land. And it's almost like the U.S. title's becoming the popularity belt. Who do we want to be popular next? And then Ziggler to Ryder, then Santino, and it's just it's a little ridiculous.
I think
they're
sad.
giving it to anybody,
Right?
And I really like that Cesaro's the champion, and like you said, he has all the build, he has the whole makeup. And he's going to be in the company forever just because he's that kind of wrestler. It's the no man's land belt. Is where you're going to stick an up-and-comer, or where you're going to stick the guy you want to be the head of the mid-card.
The United States Championship is not a WWE original championship. It came over with the WCW along with the World Heavyweight Championship, and they're always going to be viewed as lesser championships no matter what. Probably one of the reasons why we don't have a cruiserweight title anymore.
Yeah, I'll go with that. And talking about relevance and prestige and how much a title's worth, let's go to the Intercontinental title and The Miz. When they brought the original one back, when Cody Rhodes, did the whole pulling it out of the bag thing and dropped the whole mask and went on to hold it for 100+ days, I thought that was great. They hit it right on the nail. And then to have Christian come back in a triumph return, win the Battle Royal, and then challenge him, I thought that was excellent. To have Miz beat the Christian to get Miz back into the scene, excellent. But what is the Miz doing right now? Where is our prestigious title? He's sitting at the commentator's booth, and he's not the greatest in-ring ability, but I mean,
not the greatest commentator either.
from what we learned. But
the Miz was not awesome.
But he still is awesome. He still commands the mic. He still walks into the ring with a presence. Even the way he lifts his belt. This is my belt. This is my match. And this is my ring. And you got to appreciate that kind of heelish attitude towards the world. And I like it.
The Intercontinental title has a beautiful, long, illustrious history, yet since Miz has won the Intercontinental title, he's only won one match, and that was against Rey Mysterio at SummerSlam. He's been pinned, he's been counted out, he's been beaten on, and now this week apparently doing commentary. If this belt is so prestigious and it is such a big deal for Miz to hold on to it, why are they not having him on the card? Is there just not enough time to build this stuff? But I'll tell you right now, whatever match that he wrestles at Night of Champions, don't expect him to hold on to the belt.
I disagree. Whatever match you might have at Night of Champions, I think might steal the show. But on to the next champion. We're going to go to the top tier champions. Our World Heavyweight Champion of SmackDown, Sheamus. Another one of the good old WCW belts.
Yes. Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Sting, Magnum TA.
Russell Simmons was the first African American to win it. Sheamus. Yeah.
Russell Simmons from Def Jam Records?
No, Russell Simmons, Farouk.
Oh, Ron Simmons.
Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons was the first to win that. Cut for over
Def Jam.
Triple H held that belt for over 1,000 days combined of all his title reigns. And Sheamus is definitely coming from the King of Kings. Not so much the cerebral assassin side, but definitely the I'm a conqueror, destroyer
Speaking about
side.
Sheamus for a second, okay? He's still new. Let's put his Irishness aside, and he's still green no matter what. He has not been around that long, but he's definitely a fan favorite. He goes over with the kids. He goes over with the adults. He's a brute. He's a big guy. We know Vince likes big guys, and we know that he's going to hold on to this belt for as long as they want him to. In Del Rio's defense, this man is on a hot streak right now. He won on SmackDown. He pinned John Cena last night, albeit a little on Monday night, albeit a little controversial because of Punk being involved. But I believe that Del Rio is in line to win this belt. Then you're going to bring in the Ortons, the Zigglers with the Money in the Bank angle. And I really feel that Del Rio is going to beat Sheamus for the belt, but it's going to be an incredibly short run, and this World Heavyweight Championship is going to bounce around.
Because I don't think the belt is going to bounce around. And I think this is a critical point where it should leave Sheamus. I think Sheamus is going to beat Alberto Del Rio once again. I think it's going to carry into Hell in the Cell. And I think somewhere along the line we're going to get another competitor, and then we're going to get a Ziggler interference. I mean, but the belt needs a Cody Rhodes type wrestler right now. It's been on a good guy's hand too long. Even when Daniel Bryan had it, for half of that reign, he was considered a good guy.
And look what they've done with CM Punk, which is a good transition to the WWE Championship. You had a good guy who had the belt, and you're slowly turning him into a heel, or actually, in the course of 2-3 weeks, not that slowly. Pairing him up with Paul Heyman is just going to solidify the fact that Punk is somebody not to be messed around with, and he's going to be the bad guy. This creates a perfect environment for John Cena to come back and win this belt.
See, I think what CM Punk's doing great. My only problem with CM Punk recently is he didn't beat up Alberto Del Rio when he said that everybody in Chicago was beneath him. I thought beating the crap out of both the two #1 contenders is definitely another way to demand respect and nonetheless command respect. But the Heyman thing with the alliance, be sure that now Punk is what he is with his new alliance and his new friends, that he will carry that belt until he has to face The Rock at Royal Rumble.
We'll be right back with our tout of the week.
Undertaker's Flower Shop, where we bury the competition. Our prices are best in peace. Undertaker Flower Shop. Call 203-666-DEAD.